Welcome everyone back to another Boldcast reaction. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is Tengoku Daimakyou. Season 1, Episode 13. The journey continues and begins. I guess because heaven's collapsed. And it's beginning for all those kids, but it's continuing for us. Mm-hmm. Which I guess is a silver lining considering what happened last episode.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens, I guess. Pretty insane.
leave a like and subscribe.
Whoa.
Not a regulated temperature, it's all humid and just like the sun is blasting down on them.
いや、もう少し調べてからだ。これがテストだってのなら、点数や順位があるかもしれないからな。調べると言っても何を？ほら。
They still think it's like a test, like that they're getting graded or something. When really Mina's just like, go out and live. That's the test.
何に？それはわからんよ。なんでこんな不快な温度設定なんだろう。
Hot in here. They're still using terms like that, like
They think it's just inside.
thought they were gonna encounter like a bear or something.
僕、やっぱりみんなに教えてくる。
Good idea.
そっか。でも僕はこのまま続けるぜ。わかった。白はどうする？
And that was the last time they ever saw each other.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna keep going. It's like, till when?
あれ？二人？時雄くんの子、双子だったんですか？
Yeah.
沢渡先生、時雄くんに返すのはどっちですか？
わかります。足の裏に印がつけてあります。
なるほど。で、印のある方が？
ある方が時雄くんに返す子。
それでは。
じゃない。
は？もうどっちなんですか？
He's like, which one is the real one?
Like, why didn't you just at least dress them in different colors or something?
Yeah, it was kind of stupid to not, yeah. I guess if they were switching, they were planning to like bamboozle the director.
こっちは化石傷です。
可能であればこの混乱に乗じてノア計画を実行します。
ノア計画？
Noah?
何ですか？
We're to flood the world.
今勢いで名付けてしまいました。子供たちを保護する計画のことです。
Mita condo. It's like Mita house? Are they in Welcome to the NHK right now?
もし俺が5年間探してた相手に会ったら一晩は話し込むかもしれない。それでお酒でも飲んだけど次の日の夕方まで眠るなんてこともあるかもしれない。だけどもう一晩となると
Yes, it's suspicious. Go check it out.
No guards?
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, there. He's gonna have to fight his way in. Oh my god, bro.
Did you bring the gun?
Doesn't look like it. Am I gonna need to cue up the Doom music for this? The soundtrack is so sick. How many... She's been there the whole time?
2 days.
Tied up?
なんだ今の自分が寝てる姿なんて記憶のはずがない。
He's got his sister's memories.
いくらでも思い出せる。さっきのはこの体に残っている姉ちゃんの記憶。体のどこかに姉ちゃんが生きてるのかもしれない。体に馴染んで姉ちゃんになりかけてるのかもしれない。ああ、それはいいな。それがいい。
You're right.
It was him. He freaked out because he didn't think that he'd see them again. But why?
Yeah, but why? Fuck. Okay. He runs.
Wow.
He runs?
What a piece of shit.
Maybe I should cue the Michael Myers music. He just ran into a dead end.
なんだよ、一人かよ。舐められたもんだぜ。聞いてるぜ、お前。春樹に警護してもらってるよ。この世話もしてもらってんのか。どこ見てんだ。
Maru's scary as shit. Just one arm pulling him like a full-grown man. Deserved. Did they get her already? Oh no.
She's hiding.
何があったんですか。
今調べてます。それより時雄くん、聞いてください。この子は時雄くんの赤ちゃんです。
時雄くんのお腹の中、時雄くんが産んだ赤ちゃん。
君とコナくんの子供です。これからどういう形で育てるかはみんなで考えるとして、事実だけは時雄くんに伝えるべきだと。
これが赤ちゃん。
This isn't what a baby looks like.
僕のお腹の中から取り出した。そう。
Yeah, why does it have a face? What the fuck?
かわいい。
This is way cuter than those other babies.
コナにも見せないと。
What is that? Oh, what?
Is it, come on, you can take her. She's old.
Is she gonna kill the baby?
This is still a baby.
赤ちゃんは後で差し上げますから。
嫌だよ。
ミーナさん、赤ちゃんを取り上げるのです。
はい。
Oh,
What?
what are you doing?
Wait, what?
やめてください。
なんなんだこれは。時雄にそっくりなんだ。外の。
ここより外はあります。
何が得意ですか。逃げて。なんなんだ。
Whoa!
みんな来ないで。待ちなさい。
Is she like going man-eater mode?
Seems like it.
どこにも見えない。おかしいな。
Oh.
まっすぐ行ってんだよね。
They got lost in the
そうだ
woods.
と思ってたけど、もう少しまっすぐ行ってみよう。出ていたとしても、まっすぐ歩いていけばいずれどこかの壁にぶつかるはずだ。
Unless you get turned around.
シロって僕と二人だとよく喋るね。
そうかな。
It's so sad how things turn out, man. Like, they just... What kind of a bird is that?
No, you certainly didn't. You should go somewhere else. Oh.
水の音がする。
僕には聞こえないけど。
I'm glad at least they get a few years together, like, normal, you
I
know?
hope so.
流れの上の方が学校だ。
なるほど。
I thought that was a creature. Oh my god! Shiro's a badass.
Jesus.
シロ、シロ。待って、動かないで。なんでそんなに僕を助けるの？
僕は耳姫のことを考えるといや耳姫の体を違う僕は耳姫が大好きなんだ耳姫を助けるために僕の切り刻まれても構わないんだそれを耳姫が望む違う許してくれるなら
What he still has in the end.
Oh, and they put his hair up like that just to clinch it. I like that they give multiple, like, hints after, like, we figured it out. Like, you could figure it out earlier, you could figure it out then.
Do not...
Oh my god.
Just
do it. Don't listen to her,
straight up
man.
do it.
Don't listen to them. Just fucking do it. I mean, maybe there's a bigger plan here, but I highly doubt it. This guy seems like a grifter fuckhead. Fuck this guy. Murder this man.
Just go back, finish him off.
僕が見ていたものは見てなかったんだ。もう自分が誰なのかもよくわからない。もし粉々に分解されて元に戻るか消えちゃって姉ちゃんになってるのかもしれない。
姉ちゃん一回いや気分的には 3,4 回振られてるけどもう一回聞いてくれよだったらその石を川に放ってやめるから俺はまあ恋愛対象は女だから春樹が出会っても友達にはなってたかもしれないがそういう意味での好きにはなってないとこんなに好きなんだからそのキリコって人はよっぽど素敵な人なんだろううんそれは間違いないけど俺がキリコさんを好きになるかはわからない
You're a new person.
なあ俺はあんたが好きなんだ春樹でもキリコでもなくあんたがだどう見てもらったあんたの見てるものは正しいこれからも助けてもらう運転も飯を作るどころか温め直すのも俺は何もうまくできんだがあんたが危ねえ時は俺が守るこれからは必ず俺が守る
僕が守ってもらったら僕の存在意義がないだろう。
そうだよお姉ちゃんは
What's the point of my existence if I'm the one getting protected?
子供の頃泣くと
Oh my god.
でこんな風になったわ。
I've never heard like a hiccuping anime character unless they're like cold. That's so realistic.
Fuck that guy.
Don't rip up the picture of yourself.
Yeah.
That's fucking stupid. Just get some scissors and cut him out of it. That's like the only picture that you have of yourself. I guess it's the acceptance that she's a new person.
You should have just...
You should have done it when you had the chance. But I guess then nobody would have their food. There's evidence of a rape here.
Oh.
Did they lock him in there?
No.
They locked him in there?
Or what? Oh my god.
What the fuck? What?
完全に正気を失っている。一体ここで何をやっていたんだ稲崎は。
Shit.
What the fuck was he doing in there? What the hell?
And he was trying to go in there.
He's probably trying to let it out to protect him, right?
What the fuck?
He's turning people into man-eaters? Or fusing them?
What? Yeah, I don't know.
It looked like that she was bandaged up.
Mm-hmm.
そうだよ。俺のピンチにはお姉ちゃんも助けてくれる。
Classic. That episode seems so short.
Oh, don't let it end. Come on, let's turn in the next week for the next adventure. This should have been a 25 episode season, man.
We always complain that seasons are too long.
I know, yeah. Oh my god, just let it keep going. Just keep going. What are we gonna see in the water that like reveals something crazy? And that's not it. That's not it. Okay, that's not it, thank God. Oh yeah, I guess they got
Nothing
really...
bad
Are they gonna see it
happened
all
yet.
just collapse? Or the lights are just gonna go out? Oh, okay.
That's crazy. Still just the 4 of them there?
I guess.
Getting taken away? They never made it back?
I guess they never made it back.
But they got back together, and then what about the other girl? The little girl with the
They must
with the
meet.
glasses.
They must meet back
up
up
again. And I wonder who has them.
Kona. Kona was with them.
No, I mean, like, I wonder who has them in this
Oh,
boat.
I don't know. It doesn't look like they're driving. Yeah.
No.
They must have got somewhere and then
Found someone.
found it like a person. I mean, society's still around, right? So like.
Yeah.
They probably just
some person
4
who
missing
found
kids. They're just
some
like, oh,
kids.
some school kids. What are you guys doing here? Oh, we got lost. Like I don't know. They say a bunch of shit, and then the guy's just like, oh well, I'll take you to the police. Like I don't know what to do, so
Yeah.
get him in a boat,
And take him.
take him. And they assumed that the stream was flowing away, but maybe it was flowing to their heaven. Like maybe they're like, oh, the stream's flowing. It must be flowing away from our place, but maybe he was just wrong. And then they followed it upstream to like a bigger river, and then they found like a guy, and then the guy took them on their boat to town or something.
That's crazy. This episode was crazy.
I'm
so mad that Robin isn't dead. Not gonna lie.
I think I am too, but
I think the way, because he has all these experiments going on, he may need to be alive.
Yes,
just so that later this can be explained.
Yeah, because holy shit, what is that thing? What is that? It's like hooked up with what? Like I don't know if those are. I can't tell if that's a part of this thing's body.
Or if they're wires.
Or if they're wires, and it's like part technology. It's like a crude recreation. But or if it's, I don't know, this guy must have learned something from the doctor, right?
Yeah.
From Sawatari, yeah. Like he must have.
Is this like was Robin the one stealing people? Like
he must, yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was.
I think that's what this is saying.
And then this is like what he had also been doing to all of the kids and all of the people
at the orphanage.
And he was like, "Oh, you better
stay away
watch
from the
out.
doctor." Yeah.
Stay away from that doctor. Meanwhile,
maybe that's what he was trying to do.
And that's why he's like building trust with all these kids. Like there's no reason for a grown man to be hanging out with a child.
That's what he was doing, back in the day. That's what he was doing with them, and why he was hanging out at the orphanage so much was because he was grooming them, basically.
Yeah, and he said that in last episode when he was like, "Oh, I'm so glad that I like got both of you kids or whatever."
Yeah, and that's why he killed them when he had the chance. Mm-hmm. Killed. I mean, they revealed that he did shoot her, and I think I saw in a comment that like it was that if you look closely, you could see like a gunshot wound in Kiriko's head, or like her skull's all cracked and fucked up or something like that when you see the glimpses of the surgery or whatever. And we just missed that because we went back and looked, but this thing, I don't know what that is. It looks like some shit from Dark Souls. It looks like some Quelaag like insane shit, like some whatever that place, I Lost Izalith type shit going on in here. Yeah, and I mean, it sucks he's not there to like run this farm, but it seems like these guys are pretty capable.
These
if
guys
I'm being honest,
can do it without all this like.
But it seems like he was maybe like, because he was like a secret scientist guy, he probably knew some stuff to keep the. Like he said that the tomatoes were fine. They were heaven tomatoes or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he added some secret sauce to like make them keep going or something. Maybe. So I just hope it doesn't matter because these people are just random people in the world. But I hope they're fine because they obviously didn't have anything to do with any of this shit. I feel like
at this point a lot of them know like most of the ways to keep things going, and then he had kind of like retreated into this area and like been doing his own stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, that part doesn't matter. But it's just.
But I do like that all of these guys then saw this and they immediately knew that it was Robin. So that means that that's why he left, because he can't show his face around here again.
Because they're going to be like investigating and looking around now that like his guys got the shit beat out of him.
Yeah, and they probably be like, oh, all these people that we maybe thought just left or like didn't stay for long, but actually like could have had this done to them, you know?
Yeah, I wonder why he's doing it. Is it just for his own, like, is it a weird, like, just for him, or does he have like a motivation to do this?
Yeah, like is he trying
to do something, or is he just a psycho who's like, you know, playing with flesh in a way? I don't know. But this episode, other than that, I guess, I don't know how much we can even theorize about that, but I guess aside from that, I like we were saying with Shiro, how he turned and they kind of revealed, like this is the final reveal. It's like they had a series of reveals, and I like the way that the show does that. It's a very smart way to keep everybody on board. Like, despite your investment level, like we're obviously very invested in every moment of the series. Like we're watching it to critique it and review it. So like we're looking closer and deeper than other people are. Mm-hmm. So we're obviously going to pick up on things often faster than some people who would just be sitting there watching on their couch week to week, and maybe and also
and not going back and scrubbing through every other episode to like try and find one little thing.
And not that we're the peak of that. I'm sure like a lot of you guys who read the manga or were watching this week to week like came to the same conclusions at the same time. But what I'm saying is like not everybody views shows like that. So to give multiple reveals about Shiro and Mimihime, about what happened to them, and about closing that loop, you know, and doing it multiple times, and to the point where. And doing it in ways to where we're interested, even though we already knew. So like they keep like revealing it, but they're not just revealing it. They're like adding pieces to the puzzle, and like this time this little bit is revealed or that little bit is revealed, but there's always like an emotional component to it or something interesting going on with it. It's like when we learn, you can figure it out right away, but then we learn about Oma and her power and Mimihime's like connection to that power and how she like. I'm gonna overcome this, and they have a relationship, and it's like that's like a way for you to figure it out too. But it's added something, and us already kind of figuring that out, having figured that out, you know, it's cute and it's good, and we get to see more of their characters, and, you know, there's still something for us, even though we're already like ahead of the class, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? And then you can also get to this and then put together all the previous pieces and be like, oh, so that girl was this and this was that. And also, you know, just him getting that button and finally saying, sorry, did you have?
I was just saying, like, they did it in a way that, like, even if you figured it out at like the first time, the subsequent reveals don't just become irrelevant.
Yeah,
like they do it in a way that it's like emotionally interesting and keeps adding to the characters as people.
Yeah,
not just like. It's not the same as if you were in like a show and there was like a vampire and then you get like revealed that they're a vampire a little bit, but then just in case you didn't know, they like reveal it again.
Yeah.
And then keep revealing like the same thing. It's like each time they are revealing the same connection of that these people are the same people as these other people, but it's in a way that like every time you feel like you learn something new about the characters and their relationship and like more clues as to how they ended up in that situation later on, you know?
And I really like how Shiro, because obviously they were specifically excluded from learning about relationships and about, you know, gender roles and all that stuff, for the own purposes of the New World Order government or whatever. But so they wouldn't, they obviously, he doesn't know what love is. Like a lot of these kids don't know what love feels like or how to express it or what it means. So like, I really liked how he was talking about it, because he just like was going back to what he said before when he was like interested physically and sexually in Mimihime, because he's a pubescent boy and he's growing and learning and stuff like that and trying to understand how he feels. And he went back to that and was like, when I think of your body, he's like, that's not quite right. Like, and he's just like, when I think of you, and it's like, no, that's not it. And he's just like he's like clumsily trying to like, what am I thinking? What am I feeling right now? And he like thinks about it and he's just like, I love you. That's what it is. Like he kind of has this eureka moment of like, while he's turned away, we don't see his face, but he's just like, that's what it is. I really love you. And it's not just, you know, this is not just your body. It's not just who you are. It's everything about you. It's, I love you so much. And that's how you know it's real. It's like, he's struggling to like figure out what it means, because he's never felt it before, and they were never taught about it. They never watched movies to like model after.
It's like he is in like real time, because everyone there is like a family. He is like recognizing the difference between like romantic love and like family type of love.
Yeah.
Because every like they're all just like peers. They all just only know each other and are like it's like they're almost all like siblings or very, very, very close friends. So they all have like a strong connection to each other, and he's trying to figure out how he feels about her is like what makes it different than how he feels about everyone else around him, you know?
Yeah. And it's interesting that we get two love confessions and self-discoveries by a stream. We have this, it's also very interesting because these are like artificial kids, you know, test tube baby kids by a real stream, not a man-made stream by the look of it. And they're finding themselves and understanding new things about themselves and learning and growing. And then we have two kids that were born naturally, even if Maru is a product of science. Yeah. He still was birthed naturally, and they're also it's weird. They both are also unnatural in their own way, because Kiriko is a new being fused between two people and is confused about who she is and realizes that she's a new person and not Haruki and not Kiriko. She says like, you could pull me apart and put me back together and I wouldn't be the same, and I wouldn't be there, you know? And so, but they're also by an artificial riverbank. These places that were sort of constructed, like these irrigation canals. So it's like, it's weird how these two scenes mirror each other, and they're not, and instead of the object of focus in the scene being a button that was like pressed and created for, you know, heaven and this all this artificial sort of stuff, instead the object of focus is this rock, and like instead of giving it to each other, it's like throw it in if you if I'm going too far, you know? So like, rather than giving something is being like thrown away. Like it's just, there's so many different elements to both of these scenes that mirror each other so well. Even just the color palette, like the greens and blues of this new, like these kids growing up and finding themselves versus these two older kids, these teenagers kind of just confused and like this like red and brown like landscape, having gone through just this, you know, escape their own version of heaven, or this like the kids escaped heaven and then they escaped like this another facility that was like from the same stock, basically. Like there's just so many things that mirror these two scenes, like themes of identity and themes of self-discovery and self-understanding and love and regret, and like the regret of this scene, obviously, with what they just went through and all the things that they've lost along the way, and then the regret of this, where they don't even know what's ahead of them, and what we know, that the end is a tragedy for them. So there's regret in that as well, that there's this tragedy awaiting them and they don't even know it. And it's just, I just love I'm probably not even getting all of the sort of overlapping details here, but these two scenes just mirror each other so well, and they're so good. And they just mean so much, and also the fact that it, like, the one who's doing the confessing is kneeling by the river, but then the one who's being confessed to is kneeling by the river in this one. Just putting these scenes side by side and adding so many different things, like it's very, very well done, and it's just so good. Yeah, and I'm probably not even hitting on all of the elements that were sort of mirrored or reflected in each of the scenes, but I just love all the characters, and I'm sad that the show's over. Me
too. I really hope that there's a season 2.
There freaking better be. Like, the show's too good.
I'm scared that it's gonna get a Promised Neverland treatment of like, oh, we had like a banger first season, and then we'll just throw everything together in a second season. Because it just, and I especially hope that if there is a second season, that they keep like all the same team, especially the director, like clearly, like so much of the show, even last episode when like it was just horrible, but like visually and like just like the pacing and like flicking back and forth between different scenes, like everything is so well thought out, and so like beautifully presented, and that's part of what like really makes the show so good. It's just
I hope the team stays the same. I hope that if we get a season 2 that it comes soon, because
I want it like next year, or like in 2 years.
I just hope that, like, what I really hope is that last episode didn't sour everybody on it, because like it's such a polarizing thing to put in your show, and I think there's a way to do it properly, and I think they did it. Like, I don't think that they're, like, if it's a part of your story, then it's a part of your story, and if you're going to use sexual assault or rape or anything like that, if it's a part of your story, if it adds something to your world and to the drama, then, you know, it's definitely a risk to take, but it's, you know, I don't think it's off limits 100% of the time, and I think that it has a place in this story for sure, with all the themes of relationships and not just relationships, but like identity and the more, I guess, subtle themes, not really, of like gender identity and stuff like that. I don't think that it was out of place, and I don't think that it was gratuitous. Like, I think that there's a lot more rape in Berserk that is definitely more gratuitous and for has a weirdly like sexual satisfaction bent for the audience, and it's more gratuitous, and like it's something like that where I feel like a lot more people would argue that it is a more justified element in something like Berserk, not more than this, but like more than like a lot of people would sort of justify it a lot more in something like Berserk, and I think that there's a lot of cases where I think this, compared to those instances, is more justified, if that makes sense. So, like, I don't think it just came out of nowhere, and I don't think that it is off limits for the show, but I just hope that the recoil from this doesn't prevent a second season. Like if enough people are upset, then they're just like, oh, it's not worth it. It's kind of too edgy.
I did also see that people in the comments were saying that in the manga it was like.
I saw both. I saw a bunch of people like, oh, in the manga it's worse, or in the show they really went way crazier than the manga.
I saw that it was like way more explicit, and then they toned it down, like censored so much more in this. And then some people were saying that's a good thing. They didn't need to show all of that because it's very like psychologically horrific regardless. With like what like the purpose of what Robin is doing. And then some people were like, oh no, I liked it better, more explicit, because it seemed more like horrific that way. But I think that the way that they did it was like good, because it didn't feel like it was like showing anything off, or like having an excuse to just like
be sexual, but in a weird way.
It felt like really horrific, and like leaned in more to the psychological aspect of it, which seemed to be what was like Robin was interested in anyway, which was like the fact that it was Haruki in Kiriko's body, and like that's what he was more interested in. So they didn't need to just like show her naked body a bunch of times. I
don't know. I see some people saying like, oh yeah, that was too much for me. I dropped the manga when this happened, or I dropped the show. I'm not going to watch the show anymore. And I'm sorry. Like, I'm sure there's reasons people feel that way. Then, everybody has their own life and their own experiences and reasons to drop something or not. In that case, I can't really fault people for it. But I think that, as far as just a quality experience of a show, I feel like there's I personally don't feel like it's off limits to show stuff like that, and I think that if it's a part of your story, then do what you got to do to tell your story, and I just hope that it doesn't turn off executives, or if there's enough outcry, then they start listening to people. And just because it hurts some people doesn't mean that I don't think the show doesn't deserve to get made or to get turned into a second season because of that one scene, because I think that it has the potential to add a lot to the story, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Was there anything else?
There was
Tokyo getting the baby back, and then going the freaking director. And like, why is Mina listening to the director?
Maybe we're wrong, or maybe Mina is like, if Mina is Asura, then maybe Mina is like facilitating this change, and we don't even know if it's actually turning into a man-eater, or if that's just Tokyo's power. Like it looks like it looks like a reverse of what Maru's power is to me. Like how Maru has like Maru touch, and it's like, I
almost wonder,
digital. This is like fleshy tendrils, like in a similar shape.
I almost wonder if, since one of my like older theories was about a previous theory that we had, but sort of updated now to fit the current the current situation with the clones, and the fact that there's two kids and we're not looking for Tokyo anymore, because I think that Tokyo is like expanding out and like protecting the other Maru, just baby, because Mina is like coming towards her, and she is like thinking about how can she protect her child, and I think she's going to like envelop him and like protect him, similar to how he was like just growing inside of her and was like protected like in her body. I think she wants to do that again, and like cover herself with him, and potentially like grow him into an adult or a teenager, like in a protective cocoon, basically, that will shield him from danger, and fulfill her role as like a mother is like fulfilled and like manifested. Yeah, that's the word. In her man-eater form of like a protective thing. And I think that's what I think anyway. That's what I think is gonna happen.
Okay, we took a break to remember what the theory actually was.
Yes.
And it was...
Okay, because I couldn't... I remember we had talked about the cryostasis thing before, but I couldn't remember.
And it actually makes sense now that we've talked about it off camera.
Where it came from was before we knew that they cloned the baby, or we suspected that there was twins, when we were just when we thought it was just Tokyo that we were trying to find, we theorized... Because we're like, oh, well, why would Tokyo still be in heaven if it's all destroyed, if a bunch of stuff has happened?
Right, yeah,
Why are we trying to go back to heaven to find someone with the same face as you? Why the hell would they still be there?
Then we're like,
what if they put Tokyo in a cryostasis, then everything went to shit, everyone else left, and then that's what the little syringe is for, is to wake her up. It's the medicine that will take her out of cryostasis, and then... I don't know how that's supposed to help save the world, but at least it will wake up your mom, basically.
Well, maybe if there's another baby with Maru touch.
That has a different type of Maru touch.
Or even the same, and they can go and just double destroy
or what if
man-eaters.
there's a way to, like, remove the core or kill the core without killing the person? Or what if both of them together can do that? Like, if one of them can, like... help the person while the other one can kill the core.
Yeah, because if Tokyo is like if say like this like cocoon thing is like sort of like creating a man-eater like power.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Then like Maru's is to destroy it. What if this one is like can reverse like rather than like Tokyo spurs it on, this baby can reverse it, but Maru can destroy it. Then they have like all three ways of dealing with it.
And what I was thinking is I'm noticing here it's grabbing the director, and how I theorized, like, what if she keeps the baby alive inside this cocoon, but she uses the director, like, the nutrients from the director, which would be crazy and really work because the director is wanting to use this baby to live forever. But if Tokyo flips it on the director and keeps the director in like a prolonged state of life where the nutrients is like coming in from her and keeping the baby alive instead, and then it's like the baby gets to live off of the director instead of the director living off of the baby.
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
That'd be crazy.
I know that there's not like too much to back up, but I feel like with the themes of the story, I feel like it really fits.
Mm-hmm. It is weird though that I think you're right. I think you're right. I think that's probably
because I just feel like if Tokyo is like the mother, like the protective mother, and that's like her thing, and that's what because all of the other powers are like, oh, Cuckoo is like all like flicking around and has these is like sticking onto stuff with her hands and jumping around, and then she turns into like this fish thing, and what's his name, Taka. It is like really fast and agile, and then he potentially turns into this bird that like is really fast. It's like people's powers seem to be like a manifestation of their personalities in some way. And if hers is the protective mother, then that would make sense.
It would make sense, yeah. Yeah, and it's really weird. Also, like, why was Mina acting on behalf of the director, maybe to spur on this change?
Yeah, I don't know. Because
Mina never actually did anything there. Like, just went into attack formation threateningly.
Yeah.
And then, so maybe if Asura was controlling Mina, and then Mina, or Asura is Mina, then Asura knew that doing this would sort of spur on this change.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Or Mina wanted the baby for some reason?
Maybe.
I don't know. Because, yeah,
I feel like if Mina wanted the baby, Mina would have taken the baby earlier. Like, if Asura has, like, free will.
Yeah, and also Mina already, like, you know, is trashing the facility and stuff. So, and which is directly against what the director wants. So I don't see why Mina would do what the director wants unless it also serves her purposes.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like somehow Mina is also doing something to make it so the other kids can't come back. Because they didn't go that far and they were like, oh, we went in a straight line there. And then now we walked in a straight line back. And now we're like going in this ravine and finding this river. They didn't go there before, you know? Mm-hmm. So I wonder if somehow she is like preventing them from being able to come back.
I don't know how she could do that.
I don't know how, but like, maybe even like emitting some kind of frequency to like mess with their balance or sense of direction, or just like in a way to subconsciously make them like not go
drift in the opposite direction,
because they walked for like a couple of minutes in a straight line and then went back. And it's a wide facility, so like they said, if we walk in a straight line we're sure to hit it at some point, but the fact that they didn't and seemingly never do, based on the fact that they're on that boat at the end, is kind of suspicious to me, you know? And I feel like I thought of something else too. Freaking the director. Yeah, and then the doctor. I wonder how he gets out of here, or maybe he finds the kids and maybe he's driving the boat and like takes them away, or maybe he gets some of them.
I don't know. I don't know how he plays into this. I think with the stuff with Tokyo, after she just becomes like a crazy cocoon, I think they just leave. Like I think they maybe try to get her out or try to do something for a second, but they aren't really equipped to do that, so they probably just fucking walk away and leave. I don't know if they're gonna reconnect with the other kids that are with Kona, or if they'll just go.
Yeah, and like what we saw at the end is the world is still completely fine. And I wonder if there's something to do with the combatants, or like something goes wrong, or Mina like weaponizes things more to destroy the world, because we still don't know exactly what happened then. And it seems like a lot of the kids seems like they might not turn into anything for a while. And like, because we know, if we can assume that Taka is the bird, then like that's like way off in the middle of the countryside, and I'm sure, like, I know they can move around, but it seems like from what we saw with the spider girl that she stayed in that spot for years, you know?
Yeah.
So you know, by that you can think like, or does Cuckoo turn right away over the ocean on this boat?
Is Cuckoo on the boat?
Oh no, never mind. Cuckoo's not on the boat.
That's the other girl.
That's the other girl. You're right.
Yeah, it seems like it'll just happen at different times for different people.
It's crazy to think, and it's crazy to think as well the fact that what's the girl's name that gave them the gun at the end?
I forget, but she's there.
Yeah, but like we know that she like had the disease later on. Does that mean that she turned into a man-eater? Like after she died?
Oh, I think so.
Then will we come into contact with her again? Potentially
Probably.
Later on? That'd be kind of crazy.
Probably nobody else can kill man-eaters.
Because I like that as well, is that we know that she died from that disease, and then later on it's revealed that is what turns people into man-eaters. I hadn't really like gone back to think about that fact, that then now there's just another one out there lurking around.
Yeah, back where they were from, or wherever, yeah. I think that's it.
I really want another season.
Yeah, me too.
Is what I really want, because it's just so not done, you know? But it's still so good, and it just remained so good for the whole time. That just, it didn't feel like, oh, we added in this extra stuff towards the end, or like we rushed it towards the end. But what I do like is that they gave us a really satisfying ending regardless. That's like, it makes you really want more. But also, if this was the last episode, them driving off into the sunset and like, you know, the ED playing, and it feels like there's still so much more, but also it's satisfying to end there.
Yeah. It is. I mean, yeah, that's the weird thing with this series, is it's like there's not really an end point, and I think that was a problem with Promised Neverland as well. It's like season 2 was obviously a serious mismanagement. However, the general story beats that were going on there were generally in the ballpark of like what the story was about from season 2 onward, like in the manga. As far as I'm aware, I haven't read the manga, but based on what people said, it's like they butchered it, but like the meat was still the meat. Like it was still like all the different themes and stuff were generally like what was going on. It's just they changed a lot of weird shit and like made it bad, and then had the slideshow at the end. And what I learned from, or what I ended up coming away with from Promised Neverland was like the real Promised Neverland story is like it's like a prison break story. It's like, and then everything after that is like a separate story, and that's kind of what this is toying with. But because we are following Maru and Kiriko, it's more about them than it is about all these kids in the past.
Yes.
And these kids in the past are like showing, setting up our expectations for what our two main characters are going to run into. So like there's something to go, like we're still, like the story has always been about both in tandem in a way. But the problem is like once they get to heaven, once they get there and once they figure out all the series, because now we got to this point where like a big circle has connected where we like, this was in the past, this is set up the events that would eventually, but there's still a 15-year gap in between. Once they get to heaven, that 15-year gap will close, and between then and now, we'll get a full picture of everything that happened. But the problem is, once we get that full picture, will it give us closure to the whole story? Like, once we figure all that out, once we have all the pieces, once we understand everything, is the story going to be complete? Or will it just be, we're still surviving in the world, but then we just end it because, like, and they walked off into the sunset type thing.
Yeah.
And, there's not really, like, a clear, like, I will become Hokage type long-term goal. It's like, we'll get to heaven. That's the long-term goal, but that's still not solving everything. So it's like, it's still amorphous where the end of the series could be, or where, what story beat could happen that gives us closure. And there's obviously no way to predict that because we don't have all the information. But,
I do think you're onto something though with like the Tokyo's powers and Maru's powers and the other baby's powers, and like if that can help to like cure this and get rid of this. And if like and the other thing that I like about it and what gives me hope is just how well everything has been handled so far in terms of reveals, and like even though we know where characters end up, it just makes it more sad. Or it makes you, even though we know that Mimihime and what's this other guy's name? Shiro are dead in the future, I'm still so invested in their story and like so happy that they like at least have each other, and at least for now. And I think being able to do that, like, the show has been able to reveal so much, but still keep you invested. And I think that the writing is of a level that I have hope that the ending of this show could be satisfying and could be good. Because so far everything has been satisfying, and like just like really well thought, like clearly well planned, and everything is like teased, and like like the theming is really good, and everything just kind of works together, Yeah,
because we had I brought that up early in the show where, with mysteries they can sort of just keep adding mysteries and keep adding mysteries on mysteries, and then every time you get information, it feels like, oh well, I mean that mystery was like 5 mysteries ago. We're now thinking about this, and like, I guess that thing that I cared about a season ago or 10 episodes ago is solved, but that doesn't matter anymore because now we're onto this thing. So then it's just like this revolving door of mysteries and reveals, and then it just becomes like pointless. And that's a dangerous thing that mystery stories can fall into, because the whole point is that you have this weird mysterious sense about everything, and like everything's kind of crazy, and like, oh, what does this mean? What does that mean? And you're constantly making theories. But if it's just this revolving door that never ends, then you never get anywhere, and nothing's ever satisfying, and then it just feels like it goes on forever, and then all the information is just information. It's like, oh, well, this is just world building and something in the world, and you accept it and move on, I guess, and there's no satisfaction to be had. So, but there's another way to do mysteries, like what this show seems to be doing, where things are tied in, and it's difficult to pull off, but I think the show is pulling it off.
I also think what's kind of good about this show so far, at least, is that it's never really like getting bigger. Like it starts off as like we could, because of the time skip, we start off, we know how the world ends up, we know how it all is, and we know a lot, so that everything is kind of contained within itself and like working off of each other. It's not like, oh, when we reveal something, it is it's not like we are just with Maru and Kiriko, and then suddenly we get revealed of this, and it's like, oh, now this is a huge reveal. It's like they were both there all the time working together to build the story. And I think that really helps. And it's not like, oh, we were in the school with them the whole time, and then suddenly we get revealed of Maru. And, like, he's the big reveal, and now we're out there, and it's, like, a different thing. It's, like, the fact that they're together, I feel like adds a lot, because it just gives so much context for each other, and like how you're saying how like the two scenes that are taking place 15 years apart are like so relevant to each other and opposing to each other and the same but different, you know? It's I like it, and what I also like about it that I'm just thinking about now is like you talked about all these things and how none of these people are like normal, like real people, but they're all experiencing such human emotions. Like Kiriko is human, even though it's, you know, the brother's brain in the sister's body, and that's kind of a weird thing, and they feel really weird about that. But Maru isn't a real person, but he doesn't know that he isn't a real person.
But he is a real person.
But he is a real, and that's the thing, is like all of these people, regardless of whether they're man-eaters or anything, they are people. They think like people, they talk like people, they act like people, and they feel like people. So, yeah, I like it.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good season.
Leave a like if you hope that they do a season 2.
Leave a like for season 2. They won't make a season 2 if you don't like this
they're
video.
coming to this video to see the support, to see if that they should do a season 2.
Exactly. See you guys next time. Hopefully.
Bye-bye.
Bye.